There has been a lot of chatter about AI recently, and rightfully so. ChatGPT has set the world on fire.
ChatGPT. ChatGPT.
Is the artificial intelligence bot ChatGPT coming for your job?
It really showed us what this technology is capable of, not in the future anymore, but right now. And I think as marketers, this has really left us questioning, what does our future look like? How is this technology going to impact our jobs, our livelihoods, our futures? Is this going to decimate our industry? So while I had a pretty strong reaction to ChatGPT, I took the last 6 weeks off over the holiday, went on vacation, went to Europe, spent some time with family, and really sat back and thought and really planned out for 2023 and what I wanted this year to look like for my businesses and myself and my career. And I couldn't help but think about AI all along the way. And after taking my time and listening and collecting my thoughts, what I come up with is that yes, this technology is going to be detrimental to a lot of parts of the marketing industry. It's going to take over content writing in the coming years. It's going to push a lot of people out of jobs in social media, copywriting, even things like I can even see this technology eventually getting to the point where it's building websites and even like doing SEO for you, updating page titles, etc. So where does this leave us as humans, as marketers? Are we done? Should we be looking for new jobs and careers? No, I don't think so. But what I do think we need to do is adapt and understand where humans will play out in the future as AI continues to push on. And what I mean by that is taking one giant step back and understanding what our role here as marketers is. Our job is to sell product and services to other people. Now, throughout history, the mechanism and the medium of how we've done that has changed. We used to use billboards and radio and TV. Now we've moved to the internet and use things like search engines, so social media. And as AI comes in, it's going to take a bite out of all the attention and all those things. But at the end of the day, we're still going to be selling to humans on the other side of things. Now, what I do think AI is going to do is it's going to shrink the amount of marketing jobs out there and the amount of marketing paths because the technology is just going to do so much of the work for us. So where does that leave us? In my opinion, the marketers that are going to make it are going to be the ones that understand people and strategy. How do we architect strategies that connect with other humans? How do we use the technology? And how do we do so in the most profitable and effective way? Very similar to what we're doing now. Very similar to how when digital and the internet came out, it took a huge chunk out of traditional advertising. It's still there. It's still an industry, but it's shrunk a lot. And I think the same thing is going to happen with the internet as AI continues to grow and evolve. It becomes its own medium to reach customers that are going to transition from offline to internet to AI to whatever is coming in the future are going to be the ones that understand strategy. So that's my long-winded way of saying is I want to show you a strategy that I recently built for a client. I think these are the types of skills that marketers need to develop. We need to understand how to analyze, how to understand, how to create and architect things, and then leverage what other mediums or technologies are available to execute that. And again, help us achieve our goal, which is sell stuff to other people. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through a recent strategy that I did for a client. I'm going to take you through how I built it. I'm going to take you through the actual deck. I'm going to walk you through slide by slide because again, I think that these skills are needed in this market and not enough people are talking about it. I go on YouTube and I see way too much shock value and shock faces and all this garbage. Now let's talk about what we're here to do. Let's talk about marketing strategy and I'm going to walk you through step by step. So let's get into it. I've been getting a lot more acceptance to these types of pitches where I say, hey, let's not put the cart in front of the horse. Let's just understand what you've done, what you need to do, and let's put together a roadmap and a strategy to execute it. Whether you want to use me and my team to do it or not, this is something that you need. And a lot of companies are more and more receptive to this because they've just been so unsuccessful with marketing in the past. They've done a lot of the things. They've done paid search or SEO or social media, whatever it is, but it just hasn't worked for them. It hasn't delivered the results that they needed. So they're really open and receptive to a pitch that's like, okay, let's take 30 days, let's hit the reset button and let's go back to the groundwork and try and build this thing properly. And that's where a good strategy comes into play. So the process that I follow, it always starts in Notion for me. I like to go through and do a very deep audit. I'll run you through this in a second. Then what I'll do is I'll compile this into a strategy document and I'll do a series of interviews with the team, with their agencies that they have out there to really try and compile an understanding of what's been done and then how to fix it or how to bridge that gap and get them to success. And then I'll work with them through a couple of working sessions afterwards to make sure that they understand the strategy and then how they can either implement it with us by mapping some things that we can do, also helping them understand what budgets are and who they need to hire either internally or externally to get this done. So the client that I'm going to present this for, I did hide all the information just out of privacy reasons because this is, well, they paid me a lot of money to do this, so I don't want to go ahead and blow them up, but I can give you a little bit about what they do. So they are a commercial lighting provider. They work with restaurant chains, Amazon workshops, Walmarts to do all of the lighting installation, converting them to LED lighting solutions. It's a very what we call boring B2B industry. They had invested in a lot of the things like paid search and social media and stuff like that, but they just weren't seeing the results. And this happens a lot in B2B industries when they've got a very aggressive sales team, very aggressive sales goals, but the volume and the virality isn't there for them to go out and create the traditional types of content that you see, like I'm doing right now, for example, that can really spark and then have, the owner of an Amazon warehouse see a YouTube video or something like that, and then sign up to have a multi-million-dollar contract. So like I said, my process always starts by collecting documentation from past agencies, from other things that they have internally. I like to organize everything into a Google Drive folder, just get everything that they have in one place. And I'll start my process there. I'll start by interviewing staff. I go through on Zoom meetings, have an hour-long conversation, just ask them a series of questions about what they've done, what they would like to see done, things that they would like to have done but don't maybe have the resources or budget for. Just have conversations. And with the agencies too, I like to talk to them as well. Just let them know that I'm an outside consultant. I'm here to help. I'm not here to fire them, but I am here to help the client understand that they need to get better results. And something that we're doing is missing, and we need to work together to try and fix that issue. So I'll go through and basically just looking at everything that they're currently doing, social media, SEO, and I'll go through and really do a very deep analysis, just taking notes here. I don't have like a standard SOP process for this. It's really depending on the business, depending on what they're doing. And also, again, part of being a good marketing strategist is being able to look at a business and before you do anything, understand exactly what they should be doing. For example, a company like this, they don't really need to be on TikTok or Instagram. Those are more kind of industries that have a much more, and part of being a good marketing strategist is being able to look at a business before you audit or anything and kind of know exactly where they should be doing just based on the business type. So again, looking at like a boring B2B industry, doing things like TikTok or Instagram, not going to be good use of their time and resources. I'm a big fan of stripping everything down to the basics and focusing on a couple of core elements here. And we're talking cross-channel digital strategy. So not just being, oh, you should just be doing SEO. No, a company of this size, that's a $500 million company. They need multiple channels in their marketing funnel and if they're going to drive enough leads and value for their sales team to make marketing work. So you need to be able to understand the business types, e-commerce versus an attorney versus a company like this, and understand, okay, what are the channels that I should be looking at? What are they missing before you even walk into the campaign? Because it's just going to save you a lot of time, because I'm not going to do a TikTok analysis for a company like this. And if they are, then I can quickly scratch that off because I know that it's not going to drive value. These types of things comes with experience. The more the types of audits and understanding of this that you do, the better that you're going to get with it. So I'll have these things identified ahead of time, right? Email, paid search, paid social, and I'm going to show you this in more detail. But I just basically go through and take notes. I just look at what they're doing and I try and figure out if it's something that is missing from an execution point of view, from a strategy point of view, but just go through and really take detailed notes here on exactly what I'm seeing and exactly what I think should be added into the strategy. So once I have those notes completed, what I'll do is I'll open up a slide deck and just put it into a slide deck. I find that to be the most engaging and easiest way to digest this information that I present to, and also makes it a little bit more conversational when I go through and have conversations with them and the team. So simply what's inside here, current marketing assessment, what are the areas of opportunity and what's the plan of attack? Again, very simple, very straightforward. So starting with a current marketing assessment here, high level of what we analyze, current marketing performance of agencies, review of the marketing data, discussions with staff, and a review of documentation. Just to preface everything, this was a look at their paid search agency. Again, this is not the name of the agency, so don't bother. This is a review of their paid search agency. Again, names have been changed. Just a very high level audit here, looking at the data. You know, what we found here was that they went from September to November over a 2-month period, basically 5-10xing their cost per conversion. And you might be sitting here thinking, well, how could the client allow this to happen? Well, this is what happens when you're a $500 million company. These things tend to fall through the cracks. Over reliance on agency, under reliance on having the right people in-house to understand what's going on. So their paid search campaigns quickly got out of control. And I also have my paid search team put together a very deep paid search audit. I'm not going to go through it here. Again, I like to keep these strategies very succinct and to the point, give them the information that they need. If they want to dive deeper, then this is a 10-page audit that goes into like keywords and strategies and stuff like this, and really understanding a little bit more on why. So the next audit here was of the social media agency, and really throughout all this is that they're using the right channels, right? They don't need to be on Instagram, but LinkedIn is really a key platform that this company needed to be on. It's a professional network. It's where their customers are going to be and could be potentially looking for information about lighting solutions. But the key here, right, and this is the key to any sort of really content marketing, is understanding the messaging and the thesis that the company needs to have. So what's ending up happening with a lot of companies is that they're just going on LinkedIn or whatever, and they're just posting commercials instead of understanding who they should be talking to, the pain points and the problems that they have, and communicating the company's unique point of view, right? So the unique point of view is not, we sell lighting solutions to massive warehouses, because that's not a very interesting topic. Nobody's ever going to be looking for that type of content unless they're searching Google looking for that exact service. When we're talking about more top funnel content marketing type things, we need to spread our reach and we need to provide value, we need to engage, and we need to entertain our core customers. And that is all about messaging and developing what I call this core thesis across the brand. What are we trying to advocate for? Who's trying to get the attention of? And what is our unique point of view? What problems are we solving, right? So instead of just saying we do lighting solutions, you know, you're helping to increase margins. You're helping to save the planet by reducing emissions and all these different things. These are the types of core messagings and pillars that we can tap into that we can then work to communicate through social media. And when you sit here here and look at what they've been doing here. This is an example of the post that the company is doing on behalf of the client. So they're doing a good job of using the staff at the company of mouthpieces to talk about the business, right? This is the COO. They're all out there talking on social media, which is great. The agency is ghostwriting for them. But when you look at this is a straight commercial, right? Like nobody is going to engage with this content because it's just, let's talk about how to save you money, buy our stuff, instead of going out and trying to position the team as thought leaders in this space, right? So one of the things that I saw them doing a lot is sharing links from like news websites, right? So for example, there's all sorts of laws and stuff that are coming through about lighting and LED and switching to, save on emissions in the environment, all that stuff. And they're just like reposting that stuff as opposed to taking that content and speaking about it and adding their own unique point of view on top of it, right? So instead of pulling links from other websites, they should be looking at that information and making commentary on top of it, creating their own article essentially inside of LinkedIn and using that information as a means to build the argument, to build their thesis, to build that unique point of view. Like I said here, create a conversation within LinkedIn and you will be rewarded. If you're just trying to drive all the traffic outside of here to other places, especially websites that aren't your own, you're losing all that equity. These platforms want you to keep the conversation inside the platforms. They want you to create commentary. They want you to create engagement. And if you do that, you will be rewarded. So the next thing I go into here is the data review, just telling them what we looked at: analytics, Search Console, Ahrefs, AdWords, and LinkedIn data. What I found in analytics was pretty interesting. Just a lack of reporting, which a lot of companies struggle from, a lack of KPIs, a lack of clear understanding and structure of what we should be tracking. And then to me, this is probably the most telling slide here. This is 24 months of data. And what you can see here in red is the poor performance of all their paid programs, right? So the fact that the average session duration is really low, and then the conversion rate here and the total goal conversions, both of these are less than 2%. But then we zone in on the highest converting and most engaging channels, organic and LinkedIn here, right, which I have highlighted in green. This is almost 30%. LinkedIn is almost at 15.5%. So what does this tell me? This tells me three things, right? Number one is that we should be focused on building more organic presence here, building this LinkedIn profile. Again, they're doing the stuff on LinkedIn. They're just executing it wrong. But even though they're executing it wrong, they're still getting a really good engagement and conversion rate from LinkedIn. So it tells me if we can fix some of these issues on LinkedIn, we can really grow this. Also the SEO stuff that we'll talk about in a second. And third is that this paid performance has got to go, right? Not only just looking at how much they were paying, but also just the overall poor performance of this. I do believe that if you can get organic to work, right, with this level of value, then you should be able to get paid to work as well. However, this tells me that this is a lack of execution on the agency and that it's time to move on and find a different solution. So we found some interesting stuff here also in Google Search Console. So as I just showed, organic search has proved valuable when it comes to marketing and driving leads. The chart to the right shows here, what we did here is we filtered out, right? When you go back and you look here, there's 16,000 visits over 24 months. Divide that by 2, it should be about 8,000, right? This is over a 12-month period here. You can see that this is only about 20% of the total clicks. Because what we did here is we filtered out, we put a filter in Search Console here and we filtered out their branded name. So what that tells us is that this data back here is almost kind of a false hope, right? A lot of this is branded search, which is good. It shows that the brand has a certain level of affinity with the market. It's also probably coming from the social media stuff they're doing, also coming from paid search, people coming back to the website. But what this tells us is that there's a huge opportunity here. And that's actually supported by this data here as well. So this chart over here shows the top organic pages using the top organic pages from Google search. A majority of the pages ranking are blog posts, right? You can see the blogs that don't carry a ton of conversion value. Key landing pages and targeting industries and offers are nowhere to be found. And we dig deeper into this using Ahrefs. So the good thing about Ahrefs is that comparing this to Search Console data or Google Analytics data, Google Analytics and Search Console data is only going to show us traffic to the website. What Ahrefs is going to show us is it's going to show us the pages that are not getting traffic but are currently ranking. So when we take one of their key landing pages here, which is all about LED lighting solutions for restaurants, which is a really key industry, which is something that, we'll talk about diving into a little bit more. But what it shows us is that these pages are in striking distance. So if you look over here, LED lights for restaurants, 200 searches per month in position 10. This is not going to show up in Search Console or Google Analytics because at position 10, you're not getting any traffic. But when you go through and you look at all this, all the search volume for all these really, really high value bottom funnel, non-blog post content, right? So when I go back to the previous screen, right, what you see here is that a lot of the traffic that they're getting is from blog content. That's not going to drive a lot of business value, drive a lot of conversions. We want to really try and rank these service-based landing pages because the intent there is much deeper, right? If somebody's looking for LED lights for restaurants and they find your website, the conversion value there is going to be much higher for them to turn into an actual sales lead. So we see all this volume here, right? This is over, I can tell real math, call it 1,500 searches per month, all within striking distance in most of these keywords. If we can just punch these up, this is going to have a huge impact on the business. And this is just one page here, right? And we're talking about taking the same strategy and scaling this out out to, Amazons or large warehouses or restaurant chains, all these different keywords that we can build out these key landing pages for, we can talk about driving a lot of business value. So this is a very key positive thing here, right? And this is why you have to go through and really analyze the data. Because if you just look at analytics, you say, oh, they're getting a lot of organic traffic, SEO is good. But you have to go in and understand what pages are driving that, what keywords are driving that. And when you really break it down, you see, okay, they're not getting as much organic traffic as we thought, but there's a tremendous amount of opportunity here, and we just have to go through and improve this. And these are the types of wins that you can really drive for businesses, because if you can just, even this alone here, right? This company was not investing in SEO at all because they were looking at the organic traffic on a monthly basis saying, hey, we're doing pretty good, so we don't really need to spend a lot of time here. But when you go in and take a much deeper look and understand why, you can really dig into how you can help them to actually get more business value from that program and shift investments from paid into organic, because they're right there. They're right on the verge of making more money. They just need a quick change in execution and strategy in order to get there. So the next part of this focuses on areas of opportunity. And again, it pretty much everything that they were doing here, paid search, SEO, content marketing, PR, which I put as a subset of SEO, and organic LinkedIn. These are the three things that I recommended for them. They were doing a lot of these. They just weren't executing them properly. So a lot of this just dives into helping them focus, right? SEM, SEO, and LinkedIn, right? And then also email marketing off the back of it, because they have some like ebooks and stuff that driving a little bit of opt-ins, but not too much value. But this is down here on the bottom. But in terms of areas of opportunity for recommendations, paid search, number one, get this dialed in, because if we can get this dialed in, we can get leads flowing in within 30 to 60 days. And then focusing on content marketing and also PR or link building. Again, these are both parts of SEO. And then also fixing that messaging on organic social media on LinkedIn. This is really it. Paid search, SEO, LinkedIn. And then when we get to it, when we start driving enough traffic, then we can start doing some email marketing to inbound leads. I also then broke these out over here too. I think this is important because they were looking at outbound email and then also like events, out-of-home advertising as marketing. But I look at these as these should be under a sales budget, right? These are not inbound activities. These are outbound. These should be run and managed by sales teams, not by marketing teams, which again, helping them focus and understanding where they should be allocating money and budgets to is a key part of this project. So last part of this just goes into the plan of attack, right? This goes into structuring how they should be looking at these initiatives and who they could use. This is just saying that you can use us to do these different things. Also, it's important to note that using a strategy like this is a great way to upsell more work as an agency or consultant, because I get in, I build the trust, and then I basically architect exactly what we want them to do, and I can insert ourselves in here. So this just breaks down again like the roles that they need internally and then the agencies that they should use to get this done. In the final slides here, just go in and kind of give them a little bit more detail on and structure on exactly how they can fix all these different things. We put together a full paid search scope here. Previous slide was about LinkedIn. This one here is about SEO and content marketing. Again, that ties into this. And the final part of this was just PR, which again ties in for SEO. So that's it. That's all I got here. Again, this was a much longer and more in-depth than I thought this was initially going to be, but it's good. This is the type of stuff that I want to talk about in 2023. So if you want more content like this, please make sure to like and subscribe. Help me to get this content out to more people, and I'll see you in the next video.